locations. For example, the juvenile court is at a different location and a few other locations, but that's primarily where they are located. In Alameda County, there are courthouses throughout the county. It's the same with Santa Clara County, and these are set up where the people live and have their legal business. It's different at Superior Court in that more often than not, you would be hired by a judge to work in that judge's chambers, but typically those judges don't have staff attorneys on their staff. So it's you and the judge, maybe the bailiff or the courtroom deputy or whoever the judge has on her or his staff. So you tend not to have that buffer, which if you have a judge who's very experienced at supervising students and you are comfortable with that judge and you have a good rapport, that is a tremendous opportunity to build a relationship with somebody at that level. On the other hand, if you're a little nervous, if your judge is not good at supervising externs, you know, maybe just isn't available because they are so incredibly busy, you might want, you know, that it may not work out in all situations if you're not comfortable inserting yourself or asking for help when you need it. So you want to think about your own style. Is that a comfortable setting for you to work with somebody in that kind of position? And we have had relationships with lots of the judges, and so we can kind of steer you to let you know kind of the style and temperament of some of the judges where we've had students to see is that a good fit for you. At Superior Court, they tend to specialize a bit more. So the judges will have specific assignments. So for example, if you have an interest in family law, I would encourage you to apply directly to the family court within the different counties where you're interested. If you want to do criminal law issues, you would apply to a judge who has a criminal trial docket. There's a probate court if you have an interest in wills and trusts and probate issues. There are also kind of general civil, general criminal, but you can be a little bit more focused based on your own interests. And when you come into the office, we can show you how do you figure out which judge has which assignment and how would you make those choices. But you do have the opportunity to be a bit more focused. A few of the departments in San Francisco do hire enough externs, and they have enough volume where they do have some staff attorneys to supervise you. So the Law and Motion Department, which handles civil pretrials, or pretrial civil motions, family court, probate court, all have staff attorneys who are very seasoned and good at supervising students. And those are places where we tend to send a lot of our students. On the appellate level, in the state court system, we have the California Courts of Appeals. They run throughout the state. We are, San Francisco is located in the 1st District of that court, and within the 1st District, there are several divisions. And each division has 4 appellate justices who sit in that division, and they get assigned cases to review. Those folks take externs directly, so you'd be applying directly to those justices to work in their chambers, handling appellate matters. At both the state and federal level, when you're looking at appellate cases, it tends to be a quieter process. You don't have parties running in and exhibits and evidence and crazy things happening on the witness stand. These are very, you know, it's when a case is in the courtroom, it's typically a very short oral argument. Just the attorneys are there presenting the legal issues, and they're analyzing what happened in the lower court. So there's no evidence, there are no parties, it's quieter. You tend to dig a lot deeper into legal issues. It's not the quick, we have 30 matters on the calendar. I mean, these are, you really live with your cases for a while. So you want to think about your own style. Are you someone who likes to dig deep on something and live with an issue for a while and really think about it and research every single case that's out there? Do you prefer to kind of gloss over a lot of little things? Do you like to do the glossing over a lot of little things? Civil law and motion would be a great place. If you like to dig deep, appellate might be a great place.
And from the practice standpoint, absolutely. If you like the drama of seeing the clients and seeing the issues that get presented, and really seeing the heart of what's happening factually in the case, it's absolutely, I think, better to be in a trial court setting. And I know that students certainly just get drawn to that excitement and drama that happens in a trial court setting. In an appellate court, it is exactly as Sarah described, much more academic. And I think it's important as you think about what it is you want to do. Do you want to be somebody who does much more research and writing, or do you want to be the kind of person that engages more with clients? That will, I think, indicate to you which court setting in which you want external.
So we find, at the appellate level, it's a great place if you're very motivated. If you can set your own deadlines, if you could work on a 3-week project and not put it off till the middle, the day before it's due, but really measure your pace and really dig in deep, and that might be a great setting. I've worked with students where that is not a good fit for them, and it stresses them out. They need the quick, 2 deadlines a day and lots of quick feedback and quick turnaround. And so it's helpful to know that about yourself, and that's something you can come in and chat with us about, and we can sort of steer you in the right direction. These are things we want you to consider. Unlike the federal level, we do have the court of last resort here in San Francisco, the California Supreme Court, and it does take externs. So we've had students work on the staff of various justices at the California Supreme Court. As you can imagine, these are very prestigious positions to get, they're very competitive positions to get, and our students get them. And so I encourage you, if you are interested in really understanding the way the state Supreme Court operates and the level of review they do, and sort of bringing in some of the policy issues that they're looking at and looking at cases of first impression, it's a very exciting place to be. They're typically looking for students who have excelled in frankly, at all of these, they're looking for students with strong writing and research background, but that's particularly true at the appellate courts and the state Supreme Court, because everything you're doing is based on writing and research and analysis. So those are some things to keep in mind at the judicial courts. I do want to bring to your attention the administrative court structure, because that's something that most law students don't know much about, and we've had a lot of students extern in the administrative courts. So both federal system, let's see, this goes back to the 3 branches of government. The courts are part of the judicial branch. The administrative courts are actually part of the executive branch of government. So we have all these agencies that are part of the executive branch, and many of them have their own court structure within their branches, where if somebody were to file a case or they had a claim under a statute, they are required to work through this administrative court structure first before they have standing to file it in a judicial court. And so that's what those are. And in San Francisco, we have several of them. On the federal side, we have the immigration court is located here. So for those of you with an interest in the immigration law, that is a great place to work. Or if you have aspirations to work over at the Ninth Circuit, ultimately, getting started at the immigration court is quite helpful, because I think the Ninth Circuit, 50% of their docket is now immigration cases. And so they really value the background and training students get at the immigration court. And at the immigration court, you are researching cases to help the immigration judges figure out, typically in legal proceedings, what the law says and what they're obliged to do. There's also the U.S. Department of Labor Office of Administrative Law Judges. They hear whistleblower cases, as well as other cases under certain statutes, like longshore cases and black lung cases and sort of injuries at on the docks, and kind of interesting cases. Those tend to be very long, lots of writing, lots of research, very detail-oriented. Our students have had a great experience. There are a lot of mentoring, but it is a quieter, almost more like an appellate environment, where you're living with assignments for a long period of time in a very quiet and peaceful setting.
Very interesting facts in those cases, especially those occupational safety questions. I mean, the ones that this court deals with are incredibly fascinating.
And they love having our students there. On the state side, there's an Office of Administrative Hearings, and they handle all kinds of hearings from different state agencies, often involving cases where there are licensed industries, and maybe someone has done something where maybe they need to pull their license. So, contractors, teachers, there are a whole number of professions that are licensed. And so when there are issues about whether someone has done something to violate their license, those cases get referred to that office. They hear a wide variety of cases, and they're based in Oakland. There's also the State Bar Court based here in San Francisco. Very interesting for future lawyers, where you are helping the state bar judges evaluate cases dealing with attorney discipline, and what is the appropriate discipline, what are the legal issues, what did this attorney do? Certainly a lot of cautionary tales, and you see fact patterns for all of you budding lawyers, and that would be a great way to learn all your PR going on behind the scenes there.
I think also future prosecutors and public defenders, I think, would be really interested in, because there's so many ethical questions that arise in criminal appeals, for example, that I think are really, that start in this court. And there's this sort of opaqueness about what happens in the state bar court. It's a mysterious sort of place, and I think it can be a really interesting opportunity for people to work in, so that they really get a sense of this profession that we're all graduating from.
So that, now you don't have to pick just one. We will encourage you to apply to several, but it is helpful to sort of have a general notion of where you want to apply and how it might fit in with your plans. And so that's why we sort of laid out that map. But what we'd like to do now is talk to you a little bit more about the administrative process, if you want to move forward with this and get credit for it, what does that look like? And then we'll talk to you about the process and resources.
Thanks. So there are a couple of terms we want to clarify for you. So there are judicial clerkships, which are positions that you would take working for a judge after you graduate. We're not talking about those right now. We're talking about judicial externships, and I want to distinguish that even further from a judicial internship. When you extern for Golden Gate's purposes, that means that you are working, that you're working in a legal setting for academic credit. While the experience is the same, there are some particular differences that you need to be aware of if you elect credit for the experience. First, if you want to accept credit for the externship placement, you must have completed 40 units. For a judicial externship, you must have completed 40 units before you apply for the externship. Second, you also have to meet the minimum GPA requirements at the time of enrollment in the externship. And those are as follows. They're on the green sheet if you're reading along with me. You have to have a 2.5 GPA for state trial level externship, so that is the Superior Court's Hall of Justice. And for all state appellate and federal judicial externships, you must have a 2.75. When you secure your judicial externship, you register for the course, you are enrolled in that course and paying for the credit for which you're receiving. You're also required to attend the regular courses that take place throughout the course of the semester. There are 3 meetings, one at the very beginning of the semester, in fact, even before regular classes start.
Yeah, usually it's the week before classes start.
There's one that takes place in the middle of the semester, and there's one at the very end, and you are required to attend every single one of those sessions. So, the process. First, you find a placement at least 1 semester in advance of the semester in which you plan to extern. Then once that placement is set, and you've agreed with the judge that you're going to be externing for them for a given semester, you register for the course and you submit an application, which is available on the registrar's website, or in our office in LCS, which is just across the alley. Other issues. You must have either completed or be concurrently enrolled in evidence in order to enroll in the judicial externship course. To determine how many credits for which you should take the externship, be aware that 45 hours per week equals, 45 hours for the semester equals 1 unit. 45 hours a week, that'd be a lot of credits. So, in other words, 1 credit equals 45 hours for the semester. There's a 13-unit limit for all clinics and externships. If you max out that limit, you're not allowed to get extra, so that's something to be aware of. And then for HLP, how many folks in here are HLP? Briefly, I think it might make sense mentioning that you're not eligible to receive credit if you decide to extern for your first semester, for your apprenticeship. As you apprentice in the fall, you're not allowed to get credit. That is to be a non-credit position. There's a sort of a coordinated application process that takes place with that, and Jared Solveig, who's our HLP administrator, can go over that with you in more detail. While we've now just talked about externships and all the requirements that are attended to that, of course, I just want to make sure that you can always intern for a judge. Those many want to